Wasabi mi gente, ¿cómo están? Feliz lunes. I am back from Virginia, back from the surprise birthday celebration for my papa who turned 70, and what a success that was, let me tell you. He truly had no idea, guys. And when I tell you that he was just, even hours later, sitting across from me at the dinner table, he was just like, I can't believe it, Eileen, you're here. And it was so wonderful, so wonderful. If you could have only seen his face when I got there and he realized that I was actually at the house, he was like, my heart. And I was like, what's the matter, Pop? What's the matter? And he goes, it's just, I'm shaking. My heart's racing. And it was just so freaking awesome because he really didn't know that I was coming. And we had a really nice weekend together. We really did. It was a very short and sweet trip, but it was perfect in every sense of the word, and I could not be more grateful. I'm so grateful to have my dad, who is 70 years young, and I have to tell you, he has given me such perspective this weekend on life, and just gratitude and reassurance that things really do get better, you know, in time, over the course of time. You know, if you're willing to accept it, it gets better. And that was just so rad, you know, because when I asked him, how do you feel? You know, you're 70 now. And he said very honestly and very sincerely, he said, sweetheart, yes, the exterior, I'm older. I look older. My hair's grayed. I have wrinkles. I have an arthritic knee. I have some arthritic fingers. But I feel like I'm 38 years old. And I'm going to live into my hundreds. His goal is to live to 104, but to have quality of life, to have longevity. And it's pretty awesome because we had a conversation this weekend about that. You know, I mean, we talked about the wellness mission and what that means to me. And he recently started a journey himself using Noom and has really embraced the psychology behind making life changes, lifestyle changes. And he's had great success. And in that, you know, my stepmom by default has also had tremendous success, and she's not paying for a membership, and she's not following the program, so to speak, or doing the homework assignments or tracking everything. But together, they are each other's accountability partners and have just done a beautiful job of getting healthier. Yes, they're living out of leaner bodies, but overall, they're just healthier, happier human beings, and it shows. And I'm sure that retirement life also has something to do with that. My father said that, you know, when he looks back on his life and he looks at all the accomplishments and all the milestone moments, so to speak, that there's been a lot of great ones, you know, and when he was in the corporate world and all the patents that he has and products that he's created, and then of course his musical career, which I don't know if you guys know about my dad's music career, but he definitely lead singer, lead guitar in a rock band, and now as his second career, now that he's retired, he has a music production company, small, very small, but it's an LLC, and he is writing his own music, composing, I should say, his own music. He plays classical guitar now. He's switched to solely focus, not solely, because he plays all types of guitar. Guitar is his instrument. His voice was his instrument before he actually developed polyps on his vocal cords. He's had 5 surgeries, so now it sounds like he has permanent laryngitis, and it frustrates the hell out of him. But the guitar has always been another voice and another way for him to communicate and speak and express himself. And he's self-taught. And the man, I mean, yes, it was the smaller concert hall at Carnegie Hall, but he sold it out in, when was it? Was it 20, I don't know if it was 2018, maybe? God, I don't even remember now. Yeah, I think it was 2018, October. And he shared that he is composing more music and he wants to perform again, and has plans to in in 2022. And so we were talking about that and just how, you know, between his rock career and his corporate life, and then of course having children and getting married and you know, just buying homes and establishing the family, you know, there's been a lot of really sweet moments. And what I thought was so great was, though, that at 70 years old, and again, he was so sincere when he said this, and it just made my heart feel so full and so hopeful, because he's often described himself as a late bloomer, and myself, you know, he says he sees some parallels between him and I, and would say that I'm even a late bloomer. But he has often, and again repeated it this weekend, in saying that, you know, he feels that he hasn't even peaked yet, and that, you know, he's getting to that point, but he hasn't even peaked yet. And so longevity for him is the goal, to have quality health and longevity into his later years. Like, at this point, he's 70, right? So he wants to go another 34 years of quality life, not dependent on anyone, able to take care of himself, live at home, you know, and it's just really beautiful. And it just made me so proud of him, you know, so proud of him, and just so hopeful for the future. And, you know, I'm excited to see what comes of it. You know, of course, tomorrow is not promised, right? We know it's not a guarantee. It's a gift. And we spoke about that too, because I have an uncle who was diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer January 12th, and by April 12th, he had passed away. But with dignity and at home with his family, not on life support, not on tubes, you know, not being fed by tubes, etc., not on pain medications. Like, that was his choice. That's why I say with dignity. And that's what my father wants. And we realized that, of course, you know, my uncle was only 72, but the men in my family, and the women, I mean, they live well into their 90s. And so my father is so committed, day in and day out now, to just continue to live this life as full of a life as possible, with as little stress and little BS as possible. And he says now that he's not in corporate America and he's been living this retired life for the last 5 years, it has just been the absolute best. And he is so happy. And I just love that, you know. And it also made me think about my mom, and he and I spoke about my mom too, who, they're divorced, they're not married, but they're still very, very, very much friends. And my mom had reached out to my dad to wish him a happy birthday yesterday, and so he shared with me their conversation, and he just said, you know, your mom sounds really good. And I said, she is in a good space. Now, my mom, much different than my dad in terms of what they were able to create for themselves, in terms of, like, I guess, what would you call it? Material things, right? My mom has beautiful children. You know, she's not married. She is single. She does not have a lot of money. She's not, you know, I don't believe there will be much when she goes. I know there won't be debt, but in terms of leaving us any great financial whatever inheritance, that's not coming from my mom. But despite not having money, living on a fixed income, living in the projects of the South Bronx, her heart is so full. And she often tells me how happy she is, and that she's the happiest she has ever been in her life. And, you know, perspective is everything. And I think that was the takeaway from my dad and my mom, that perspective is everything. How we see things and the perspective we place on it truly makes all the difference in the world. you know, and my mom doesn't have a pot to piss in, but my God, her heart is pure gold. And she is so at peace, you know, with her life, with herself. And so is my dad. And I think that having grown up and seen just how difficult things were, because they weren't easy growing up, I consider myself very grateful for having a very well-rounded childhood and upbringing. I mean, truly, working class poor is my mom, and my father, you know, he created what he has now for himself, and it began after 40 years old. He had filed bankruptcy before he turned 40. You know, he was a single dad. He went through series of depression and stuff like that. Whoopsies. Hold on, people. Whoopsies. So, you know, it's not like life was easy and perfect for anybody, but just very different from my mom. I grew up in suburbia, you know, in a middle-class neighborhood, which then my dad eventually was upper middle class and doing very well for himself today. My mom, on the other hand, has been in these projects my entire life that I remember, with her. You know, when she migrated to the United States, I mean, that's what happened. She ended up living in poverty, really, and not having the resources or the support that others may have had. And she had always worked very hard and done the best that she could, and was a single mom to my younger brother and sister, and had a shitty husband. My father was a great husband, but, you know, there's always the, how do I say, when you grow up in a cycle of abuse, you don't always know how to accept healthy love. And that's what happened with my mom and dad, you know? But they're still good friends, and they still have an amicable, respectable relationship, and it's wonderful. And yet my dad is now married 30 years to my stepmom, and they are so freaking stinking cute. And yeah, I might have been resistant and didn't want to welcome her into the family as an angry teen that was pissed off at the world, right? But I am so grateful that he has her today, and they are just so stinking cute, and I mean it. But anyway, it just was really beautiful to spend quality time. And though I spent 13 hours driving, and I left Saturday morning and I got there Saturday afternoon, and then I came home last night, I left at 9 p.m. and I made it back to Long Island at 3:15 a.m. and I got my butt up and I got ready for work and I did my thing, and you know, you gotta keep doing. But I wasn't going to miss his 70th birthday. My dad says after 60, a birthday's just a birthday, but I don't agree. And when I got there, he said to me, "Sweetheart, I thought we agreed that you weren't coming until you could spend some time here." And I said, "No, Pop, you agreed." I just simply listened. And he was just tickled. He says, "This was the best surprise, Eileenie. You have no idea what you have done and how much this has elevated me." And that just meant everything. It was worth it. It was worth getting home at 3:15, taking a nap, and getting up and having to, you know, hit the road and get into the grind of this work week. Totally worth it. It was worth driving through torrential rain in 4 states to get home last night or this morning. And what's really nice too is just, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but you know, the relationships are evolving, and I'm much more appreciative of him. And even my stepmom. I mean, my stepmom, she's amazing, let me tell you. She's a talent, FYI. She made this dress that I'm wearing. And not only did she make it, but I walked into the house on Saturday, and after greeting my dad, which by the way went off without a hitch, because I pulled up to the bottom of the driveway and I saw that the garage door was open. And I panicked a little bit because I needed to get out of the car and wrap myself in this makeshift gift bag and put my birthday hat on and get the balloons and get the pizza. So I actually saw that I was able to kind of stay out of his purview. He didn't know I was there, didn't know a car pulled in the driveway. It also helps that he's a little hard of hearing. Shh. But I mean, when you play in a rock band for all those years and you have rehearsals with amplifiers and electric guitars, and I'm not surprised. I'm a little hard of hearing myself, and I mumble, but that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, so I get out of the car and I get myself together and I approach the garage door and I just walked up and I said, "Delivery, happy birthday!" And he didn't look up right away. And what he told me was that initially he heard my voice, but he couldn't place it because he knew I wasn't supposed to be there. He thought I was going to be at the beach, which my father knows me well. If I was home, I would have been at the beach for a couple of hours. But then he thought that maybe it was a neighbor that knew it was his birthday, and he was like kind of not feeling it. He's like, I was dripping sweat, working to put my hammock together. We all chipped in to get him this really, I don't know, heavy duty, will stand the test of time hammock, and he's loving it. But he was putting together the hammock and he was dripping sweat and it was already hot and humid. And he thought it was a neighbor coming to wish him a happy birthday until he looked up, and that's when he said, Sweetheart, what are you doing here? What, my heart. And then I panicked because I was like, oh gosh, no, not today. This was supposed to be a surprise. But it was epic. It was really epic. And we had an amazing time. First of all, I didn't know that my dad and my stepmom were such cool ass people. I mean, I knew they are, but I didn't. And what I mean by that is they had 2 bags of alcohol, ice pops, cocktail pops in the freezer. I didn't even know they were hip to that, okay? But here you have my dad opening these babies, squeezing them into a wine glass, and then topping them with champagne, okay? That's my dad. So, I popped the pizzas in the oven, popped a couple bottles of wine, and we had a really great time. I drank nothing on the way to Virginia because I did not want to have to stop at a restroom. I wanted to just keep going and get there. And then I made the mistake of drinking a lot of red wine, having a few of those cocktail ice pops, and probably being dehydrated because I had a wicked headache at 4:30 in the morning and I needed to guzzle some water. Thankfully, when I woke up at 6:30 on Sunday morning, I was feeling much better. But I was dehydrated. But we had such a good time, and my dad, he's so cute. So he's not like hoity-toity Mr. Fancy Pants, even though, you know, he's done very well for himself. He's very grounded, very down to earth. And he says on Saturday night, he goes, "Is it okay if we just grill some hot dogs and drink champagne?" Hell yeah, Pop. Of course it is. Pinkies up. And we have a picture of us. Pinkies up. Too cute. Too cute. We also have a selfie of me and my dad. He's got a chalice of wine. Well, it's not wine. It was this slushy ice pops with the champagne. And I have an ice pop hanging from my mouth and the chalice of wine because I was double fisting. And it was awesome. You know, it was awesome. And anyway, so after I put the pizzas in the oven, my stepmom comes from the basement, which is where her sewing room is. And it's not really a basement at all. It's kind of like a 3rd floor of the house, but it's her workspace. And she has professionals, you know, sewing machines down there and whatnot, cutting boards, tables, you know, to cut the fabric and stuff, measure and stuff. And she comes up the stairs and she goes, summer dress for you. And I was like, what? Wow. You know, because she never took my measurements or anything. And I just was not expecting it. In 30 years, she hasn't really made me too many things. And this was just clearly out of love. And it just meant the world to me. I was like, after 30 years, she does love me. And it felt so good. And I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with her skills. She's like 5'2" on a good day, and I'm bigger than she is. I mean, I'm 5'9", but height and weight, I'm bigger than she is. She eyeballed my measurements and made this dress for me. And you can't even tell what it looks like or take really any appreciation to the fine detail in this dress, but everything from the straps to the ruffles to the material, the fabric, I mean, just stunning quality work. And I'm just so proud of her too. I really am so proud of her. She has so many gifts. I mean, she was going to make my sister's wedding dress, but because it's a little more architectural in style, she didn't really want to do that in case, because it's a lot of work and takes a lot of time and the materials are expensive. So they ended up buying my sister's wedding dress, but she is making the bridal shower dress, and she is making the rehearsal dinner dress, and she is making, I think, you know, the dress that you can like change into during the reception or whatever. Such a talent. She makes the, she has made and reupholstered. The house is exquisite because of the work that she's done in reupholstering furniture, couches, chairs. I mean, the curtains, duvet covers for, I mean, it's just insane. It's insane. I wish I had that gift, you know? It's such a talent. It's such an art. They're both so talented. The irony is too that my mom is also quite the seamstress, and she's made a lot of clothing for me over the years. Nothing recently, but you know, a lot of similarities in their personalities, and of course a lot of differences. But I don't know, I'm rambling, but all this to say that it was just a phenomenal weekend, and I ate, I drank, I was merry. We made a chocolate fudge mousse cake for my dad from scratch, because you know, that's how we do. Out of this world. Out of this world. And may not have looked pretty, but my God, did it taste good. And you know, yesterday they had paella, I had steak and green beans and salad because I don't eat seafood, so they make me a separate meal, which was very thoughtful. We had pastelitos or empanadas, Dominican style. You know, like, it was just a feast and a celebration of life and just quality time together. We were missing my sister big time. She was not able to be with us, but my brother was in from Massachusetts, and he kind of just showed up. Not showed up. They knew he was coming, but it was last minute. He came in Wednesday night, so he was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and went home today, Monday. He had like a 10-hour drive or so. And it was just great. It was great being together. And, you know, I guess all this is just to say that we have to count our blessings. We really do. And I've had to reevaluate relationships, especially with my family. And I've had to look at my own biases and really kind of set them aside and meet people where they're at, you know, even if it's my dad and my stepmom and my mom. You know, I've had to do what I've had to do with friends, you know, and it's important. It's important that we take the time and really, I mean, it's just, it's nice to see that after all these years, things are improving and evolving. And I'm just so grateful for his positive attitude with regards to living life, living a full life, a healthy life. And it was like almost validation for me, because that's what the wellness mission has become. You know, it's my everyday effort to just be better than I was yesterday. F the haters, you know? It's fine. People want to hate, they can hate. People don't want to take the time to get to know me, then that's your loss. It's okay, you know? But if you do, know that I am too, you know, going to be here open-armed and ready to embrace and work on it. And like, that's so, it's neat. It's really neat, because I feel like I'm so much more like my dad than I even realized. And I'm proud of that. And for a long time, I wasn't. And he's really taught me a lot of valuable lessons in life. Both of my parents have, and my stepmom. You know, we learn and we grow from all of those relationships that we have throughout our years. From really small childhood into our adulthood, right? And it's just awesome. And I'm just grateful to the people that are in my life. And on every level, you know. It was another thing we talked about was just the circle of friends. And how sometimes time apart, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not friends. Or if things ebb and flow over the course of years, like, that's okay. It's kind of normal. Sometimes time and space is needed. And that when that circle closes again, it's just like you pick up right where you left off. You know, we were talking about just childhood. Because there were some people who made pretty drastic exits. Very quick. Unexplainable at the time, you know, and they were going through their own stuff, and I just didn't understand it. And then I was able to kind of reflect on relationships I've had, and the same, like, I don't know. It's just pretty awesome. And it just, like I said, it just felt like maybe things really are going to be okay. You know, like this will to live and this fight to live and this desire to live a full life and just trying to be better, a little bit better than I was yesterday, today. That's awesome. And it feels good. Not every day's perfect. There's a lot of days that are terrible. But they're just moments. It's not really the full day, you know? I'm rambling. I don't know. I just wanted to share that the weekend was beautiful, and I really hope that y'all are doing well and had a wonderful weekend as well, and that I don't know, maybe you'll take something away from what I'm sharing, because maybe something resonates with you. I don't know, but I just wanted to come back and check in. I am going to the gym tonight. I thought I might start fasting this week, but I decided I'm just going to clean up my diet really good. And then August 1st, I'm going to weigh in. Because this morning I literally took a nap and I woke up in such a dash. I didn't even jump on the scale. And I didn't eat anything until 4 p.m. And it was just salad greens, but I'm going to have a shake before the gym. And I'm going to reevaluate things. You know, I've been eating every single day, whatever the hell I want, but mindfully-ish, since April. And it's time to just get back on that bandwagon and continue a fasting protocol of some sort and, you know, continue this journey. I am comfortable where I am, but it's getting to the point of not really so comfortable, and I can't even tell you where I am on a scale because I haven't been on one, and that has been incredibly liberating, people. I can't tell you how much that has been so liberating, and yet stressful at times too, because, you know, it's part of the process. It's part of the process. I did this intentionally. This was done with so much intent behind it. This was purposeful because I have always been somebody to weigh in every day, and I have always been one to let the scale kind of dictate, and also have been struggling a little bit with the mind piece, because sometimes what I see is not really what's in the mirror, you know, the body dysmorphia piece. But now I'm trying to go by how I feel. And I do feel good, but I do want to lose a few pounds. And I know that I've gained some, but it's okay because this is part of the journey. I don't want to live on a diet forever. I don't want to live on a prolonged fasting protocol forever. I truly want to use it as a tool, you know? And I don't want to live a life of restriction, but to have a healthier relationship with food. And some days are epic fails, and some days are massive wins. And that's cool. It is, and I am, a work in progress, and this journey really has no end. As long as I'm here, living, breathing, and these eyes open every day, it's an opportunity to do better. And that's it. That's what I'm trying to do. Live my best life. Take care of my heart, my soul, my body, my mind. And in that, if I can be a better person for myself. I'm a better person to everyone who's in my life. Friends, family, clients, strangers, anybody, pets, you know? So, anyway, I leave you with that, friends, because I'm almost home and I've been holding this for too long because I really do need to just get one of those hands-free jammies. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Have a beautifully blessed rest of the week, guys. I will talk to you soon. Take care.